Hi. So this is a tutorial for doing our updated payroll master payroll sheet. So I'm just going to run through this pretty quick. This is a little different. There's a lot of stuff we got to track, and it's been pretty tough to do in the past. So this hopefully kind of compiles all the information we need. Once you get used to the features in the system here, it should be pretty smooth and pretty easy for you, but there are some steps, so I want to run through it. This, as you can see, is the first step. This is the first page. This is the master sheet, right? This is obviously geared for the Alpine world. I figured I have the most employees on board, so I built it out for a full Alpine staff, and then it can be modified for each of the programs based on how you want to do it. But this gives you, 44, 45 employees if you wanted to manage that many. So hopefully we're capturing everybody. So the first thing is his first name, last name. You can go through, enter these. I broke them up by color just for, if I want to address my IMD team or my North Series team or my Mini World Cup team, I can, just easily reference these things by color. But this is all sort of personal preference. But you have last name, first name, job title. You'll have to drop that one in there. Work classification, you can see that little arrow pops up, and you have to classify full-time salary, part-time seasonal salary, session, or hourly. That lines up with the work in the front office and the notes in the front office. So we're legit, with regard to employment status and all of those things. Program, again, these are line up with what's in our QuickBooks, in our expense sheets in the front office. So you'd have to pick which program or which line applies to that employee. Okay. So in here you can see there's a column for each pay period throughout the year plus a total, which is the sum of all of these, so you can keep track of how much you've paid each employee on an accrual basis, basically in live time. You don't mess with this. You don't mess with any of these cells. Okay. As you can see, this cell is highlighted here. It's referencing a worksheet. So that's where all of these are. Every pay period on the 1st and the 15th throughout the entire fiscal year has its own sheet. All right, so that's where the magic happens. So let's go to the first one. So you can see there's these groupings. All right, these are for the sake of just simplifying things, but pay period here, pay date here. You have the same list as you had before. You'll have to modify these worksheets accordingly. Work classification, again, we ran through this program, etc. So what I would do is expand these. Now where it's in green, this is where you input stuff. These you don't mess with because they reference some other cell. So there's some basic math going on. You can see over here there's all these groupings on this side, and just off to the left and diagonal down, each employee has a group. Okay, so for example, me, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have four lists. These auto-populate based on what's in the top cell, so you don't have to worry about it, but you will have to fill out the top line for each employee. Okay, and the reason we do this is you'll see, because everyone, there's salary, there's sessions, different types of pay for session, and each of those has a different amount of time associated with it, which is something that we have to track as per the rules. So for example, here, first line, rate. I pull my class. I'm going to say, this is a salary session. We're going to say for the 2-week block, $1,500. Frequency, that's once. And you can see, boom, it pulls across. Now, time per session is something you also have to record. It's because it's full time. For 2 weeks, it's going to be 80 hours. Pulls over here. Now, let's say, but I also, I dropped in a laser session. Okay, the rate is, $50, and I did 5 of them. Okay, you can see it pulls over. Net pay for that line item is $250, and then it adds to this gross pay. Time per session, the laser session's 2 hours, and then I think I have to do one more thing here, so I'll fix this. But there you go, gross hours. Okay, so then this thing pulls up to the top, and it's nice and clean. You go down to your next employee, okay, again, salary, whatever it is, $1,000 once, Okay, there it is. And then let's say there's a dryland, dryland session. These pay out at 40 bucks a session. And you did 5 of them, boom. Now for this is full time, so you go 80. And then on this next one, it is, say 1.5 hours. And there you go. It pulls across and gives that employee the gross hours for that particular time period. Now if you drop back to the master sheet, you can see that it pulls the gross number right off of that. Okay, and it totals over here on the far right, so you can keep track of what's going on with all your peeps, all your people. Okay, so that's it. Then you can, of course, just for the sake of cleaning stuff up, you can collapse these, although it doesn't change the numbers at all. What Mimi needs to know in the front office is really, is what the gross pay is. That's what it references, and and we need to keep track of our gross hours. Okay, makes sense. Pretty simple, pretty clean, and just a little bit of a learning curve. And you'll have to do some work building out your roster and defining the work classification, all those things. But there you have it.